the debate. Then as we go, we do the analysis.
To set the record straight, I mean, I personally called for this debate because some few issues came up in the interview that you had with Mr. Manneh, I think on the 31st of December, as part of the review of the year on activities in the Gambia and the reaction of the UDP, also on the gains that they have made in 2023. And a few things actually caught my attention in the interview that I thought was necessary, that we sit face to face and debate on those. And one of them I can play, if you don't mind. You give me a cue in. Go ahead. So that give me a cue in, Peter, and then we play that first, so that I can ask Mr. Manneh, because I will, as the Minister of Works, I would like to know some of those facts that he has, so that in case they are true, I can actually act on them immediately. And the first one is this one.
Just point to your speaker. You're playing from your
yes.
Yes. What's the thing called? Tablet.
Tablet. Okay. Yes. So I
just
have
point
this one.
Just point your speaker to the microphone.
Audio is clear, but obviously he was playing audio of Dr. Manneh.
Yeah. So basically, I know that since I came to the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
So Dr. Manneh men Alejangwala nyindiko ye silol menu doku, most of them they did not even last for 2 years. So wole Ebrima Sillah dimi. You understand? So wakakana will clarify. But let's listen. It's going to be very interesting.
We have specifications for building roads in this country, and we have different type of roads. Of course, we have laterite roads, which now as a government we are not even spending money on because we know they don't last long. We also have double surface dressing, and which also, have the same kind of base with asphalt, but the ceiling is different. Now, that one, you have road furniture, but also you have culverts, and also you have drainage. And minimum in most areas where these things are built, because they are not heavily trafficked, minimum is 20 years guarantee that we give. If you go to Sabah Sanjal, if you go to NBR Lot 2, where we have the salons, and also where we are building roads in Kiang, is the same standard. So I'll be very happy if Mr. Manneh can tell me that in the last 2 years, the roads that we have built, none has lasted more than 2 years.
Okay. You want him to respond to that?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Manneh.
Thank you very much. In anticipation of this debate, yesterday, I took the whole day driving around the OIC roads and other NRA roads in this Greater Banjul area. I'll just give you a few. The Latrikunda-Welingara Road, which is an NRA road, I understand, is completely demolished. The Welingara Coastal Road, which is apparently an OIC road, huge chunks are gone. The surfacing is gone in a number of places. There are big potholes all along the road. And I invite Gambians who live in those areas to go and see for themselves. I went with a group of friends yesterday to check those roads. We went to the Sukuta-Nema Road. Same thing. The surfacing is gone in most places. I went to the Tujereng Kunkujam Mariama Kunda Road, and from the time we left the Tujereng Road until we got to the Queen of Peace, St. Francis Parish, and Bosco Youth Center, it was horrible roads.
The Queen of Peace is where Christians, Gambian Christians, Catholics go on pilgrimage every year, yes.
And I went all the way to that point, and I was checking on the road. And I took pictures and videos here. I have them with you. I can show them to you afterwards if you want. You can tag them afterwards in this program. And they are very bad road surfaces. I went to the Willinkama Road. I took that. It is being done. Part of it is done. Part of it is, other half of the road is still not done. They are doing drainages. And those drainages seem to lead to nowhere to start with. No connection to anything in particular. Where the drainage is going to empty into. I saw culverts, which I wouldn't call culverts, particularly just out of Brufut. I saw those culverts and I said, what is this? It's a bridge, it's a culvert, it's what? I went down that road. Half of the road is paved, the other half is being paved now. And you look at the structure, you look at the thickness of the surfacing that is being used there, you know this is not going to last. Just like the ones what I mentioned before. Those roads are all going away. And to make matters worse, these roads were negotiated by the then OIC Secretariat led by Lamin Manneh. And they got $50 million for those roads. $50 million to do a 50-kilometer OIC road network in this country, which is the standard. A highway is usually about $1 million per kilometer. That's the average. But these roads are not even highways, but they provided $50 million for those roads. And those roads normally, none of them has cost this government even $400,000 by looking at what's on the ground.
So this is where the contentious is one. No saba follow kumase ta janar. Ebrima Sillah is trying to argue sorry, Dr. Lamin Manneh, what he is trying to say is, in silo lumen ye doku like 50 kilometers for 50 million is just not worth it. And no be kelo ka silo let many along is a highway. But it will be men doku come from it does not meet the standard of highway. Niko maybe compared to the international standard. So nyina man dia Ebrima Sillah. Ebrima Sillah nyina man dia. What Dr. Manneh is saying maybe 400,000, not even $500,000. So the discrepancy is like huge. So this is where the first contentious issue began. But let's continue.
Where did the balance go? So those roads, if you put $1 million into those roads, we're supposed to have standard roads. And the guarantee, for those kind of roads, you have at least a decennial guarantee. Where is the guarantee? Who's doing the work? Who's doing the repair works? We have heard about parts of that road, particularly the Foot-Willing Road. A gentleman that we understand who's Gambia or something, and who was part of it, was not even paid. And Sillah should tell me whether it's true that part of that gentleman's contract has been given to certain Musa Fati and the president of it. Is that correct? We need to know all of those things. Okay. Where is this money going? What has that $50 million gone to finance? Okay.
So because I can guide you a little bit. So the thing is, remember Dr. Lamin Manneh question on Mena. Ebrima will go into other things. Wala nante ko Ebrima Sillah manka ko manka kanwale jara. Daja ning kanja manki klende. The two are different. Kamoyle ale nan kamem. Dr. Lamin Manneh kan yung question on men beji ning katen. Comme example, in case you wanna forget, ako the drainage system. Ebrima ko follow ko ibol doku ko. Nabi silo doku ko alongside with drainage systems. So now, the drainage system holding, where are they leading? Because niko drainage system jole bo bore kanje, right? So Jeka Borakara min dole. Yala ni Joman Tadula, so in the end, what are you going to have? You are going to have flood. Ibodo Yininkaga, he's not going to answer that. And also the finance, Ibamul Yininkaga and the people involved in the contract. Ila contract terminator Yachika Yadido. Ebrima is not going into any of those. Let's listen.
That is just to give him an answer on those things.
Absolutely.
Just to conclude, although it's not probably part of the OIC roads, the Hakalang Road, I went there also to see for myself.
Yeah. That one is one silo me alon ko ayla ko mamba fa nyom ko le ka tawle ka carte fay baroy so nim baloy sila carte balo dila sulu wala tama silo kay word. To be honest with you, you guys can be concerned, but I'm the least concerned. Nga fo ilal kana carte dila nyom ko lem nyom ko mol diam de la fom badata. All they do is go and vote for baro. So near sulu dinko wala benunje baro na ray sulu dinko morinje because silo ni start la name ndo ko akatinyale. And I don't even know, for the sake of my life, Ebrima Sillah lafa ka balanko Gambia silo leke do ku nyame katinya wala nyam. Therefore, I understand. Because Gambia, you don't even have to be an expert or in it. Even if you are not observant, ikaje silo kana. Silo katam silo mendogo ka. Because silo la janjang la ntama ke technician tinyanya. Bari ngalo ko sila jama bijela janjang la. Tinya ka kumase jeldo. So what is going on here? Remember, Sancho is coming back. Kana wori bald man nyinga bitala. Go kullaw zero. Controversial.
Let's share that for a follow-up. Sillah.
Yes, thank you so much, Peter. I think it is very important we set all these things into context. For example, the Sukuta-Nema Road, that one was built as part of the NRA's maintenance program.
So I want to remind you something here. Ebrima Sillah I'm totally confused, to be honest, in as much as the OIC road, whatever in question. One OIC is in May, right? This month. And it's in May. But also, Ebrima so I remember maybe only one road abesonna wala ko OIC level. The rest are covered Gambia government. Ebrima Sillah covered Gambia government. Amuka sonyin silol von cover come OIC level. So it is Ebrima is just so talented, I swear.
All right. Now, because of its significant importance to the overall road network in this country, when the OIC roads were being surveyed and selected, it was thought necessary that that road should be done. And what he talked about, actually, that road has not even been started yet. So it is false to even say that that road has started collapsing. The Nema Kungwan, because OIC has not built anything on that yet. They are only doing the drainage and also going to completely, resurface it and then build it to standard to the specifications that all other OIC roads, have. So that is that
this
one.
This is the Sukuta road.
He said, Sukuta Latrikunda. The Sukuta Latrikunda road, which was built by the NRA some 4 years ago.
Okay.
So Yamada is affiliating it to NRA. You understand? Before you get to the NRA OIC Summit, it is going to be a very massive spin. He's giving credit to only their government. So
this was part of the maintenance program. In fact, not even by the NRA, but the GAM works. It was part of the maintenance program, right? So now, the Sukuta Nemakunku road, which is part of the OIC, nothing has happened on that one yet. No, asphalt has been laid on that. They are on the roadbed, all right? They are building the road. So you cannot even say that that road is 2 years. They have not even started anything on that. Now, the Burfut Wulinkama, this is, for example, if you are coming from Sibet.
And just in the defense of Dr. Lamin Manneh here, look, in a silo start, Ibrahim could silo project or do proper performance start. So if it has been there like that, coming the pre-doc staging, if that takes 2 years, because I'll be from Bonkan Silo can. How can that even take 2 years? Like Silo parak kan jebe dulal clear be ulangol bona. That only that takes you 2 years. Ebrima Sillah dal.
Johnson going to Brusubi roundabout. The main intersection that goes into Willinkama, then to Brufut, Sirifkunda, then all the way to Ghana town. This, of course, is a very good solid road and is 11 inches of asphalt. Yes, and the way those roads are done, they come with concrete, drainage systems. The roads are not completed. For example, from the start up to 100 meters, they only read the laterite on that, because the drainage thing that he talked about, of course, when the contractors, the consultants are preparing that particular stretch, they link it to the OIC drainage system so that the water that is coming from Wulinkama will empty into the OIC drainage, the battle-hardened drainage, into the main, outfalls. So to say that, that road is badly done is complete lack of understanding of how road construction is done. All right? Now, the other half that he's talked about, of course, when the road was done and primed from end to end, they did asphalt on the left-hand side going to Brufut. You know why? Because on the right-hand side is all full of NAWEX major pipes. Therefore, in order to ensure that the relocation of those services take place effectively and efficiently and properly, you don't have to put asphalt on that, because you will end up destroying the road again. But go there today, maybe tomorrow. By the next week, you will see that the asphalting is completely done. And the culvert that he talked about, these culverts are of standard. They are concrete reinforced culverts, different from what we have seen in other parts of this country before the advent of the current regime, where they use major, aluminum pipes as culvert for water to pass through. So you will see that within a few years, because of the pressure exerted on the road, those culverts will dent and then, bend down, and no water will be able to pass through effectively. So it's completely different. The concrete reinforced of these culverts are such that they are guaranteed for more than 25 years. And these are, of course, you have the consultants who evaluated these things. They certified. You have the NRA, you have the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, whose engineers are there. And also we have independent consultants who also do some backstopping on some of this infrastructure that he talked about. If you also, the road that he talked about, the Mariama Kunda, this particular project was given to a contractor, I think in 2019. And then when I came, because of the way the road was done, they only put prime on the road, and it wasn't completed. It was taking a lot of time. We had to cancel that contract. And in 2022, June, we gave it to SSTP. Now, the area from Tujerem going all the way to...
Did the cancellation come at a cost?
No.
to the Gambia?
No, it didn't come at any cost.
Okay.
No, it didn't come at any cost. In fact,
come back on that.
in fact,
yeah, Jang, okay. Niko legally, come example, maybe yen samba government samba court lebang or something like that. Okay, maybe that did not happen because no okay that will be a matter of public record. But if you give a contract to somebody, where do you start, you know, in a quality mambeda, then in a reverse, you know, your contract on your rescind, you give it to somebody else. You want to tell us that that costs nothing? Ebrima Sillah. And this side, I wish I had Bayo Sonko here. Nimbayola last program, we did a program about April, you know, mid-April. You understand? He talked about one of these contracts. Ebrima can remember for that. All I need to go. Your contract di mola mari border. But Ebrima nene admit la anywhere. Ebrima I balanta wala fa ela bankodo. Ako in fact it will book a contract. It will mang Sierra Leonean phone table ka contract de only 1 or 2 member. So I modo tough. But come here mano your contract di mano mena border. Apparently, Ebrima will never admit to that. And I'm
at the time, the deposit that you know they have paid to the bank, it was seized to ensure that if there was any liability contingent on the contractor, that would be used to make sure that it was offset. So there was no cost at all. Okay, so what we have done...
So it was cancelled and given to
another contractor. Now, from Tujaran going all the way to Kunkujam Mariama, where, you know, you have the, you know, the Catholic church's facility.
Kunkujang Mariama.
Yes. It was prime, and it was not double surface dressed. Therefore, the contractor, in order to gain time, started working from there. And right now, if you go to that road, you will see that they are doing cement stabilize. Cement stabilize means mixing cement with sand.
Ebrima, and this is one of the reasons manka problema. Yala Ebrima mobi and Ebrima construction karang, Ebrima engineering karang. You see, he's getting into all these technical terms thing just to confuse the audience, just to confuse Dr. Manneh, just to confuse everybody else to run away from the actual topic. You understand? And I know about fana enlightened based on all personal experience. Abuka pareke lamai. Ebrima is a true spin doctor, a very, very good one for that matter.
And some materials to ensure that the road, bed is strong, so that when you put double surface dressing on it, or when you seal it, to use a common man's language, it becomes much stronger and then lasts longer. And the contractor, of course, will go back to that stretch of nearly
you're not an expert too.
That was prime before his arrival there, to ensure that he do a good job, you know, on that place. So all those things will have the same formula, will have the same, you know, specs as from Brufut and going towards Kunkuja Mariam. Now the other one, which he said $400,000, according to him, was not spent. We'll be happy for him to give us the calculations. What formula did he use to arrive at 400,000 instead of 1 million? Because remember, these road projects.
So can you confirm that a kilometer of road ordinarily should cost $1 million?
That's what is estimated in the project. You can make savings based on the number of factors. For example, when these contracts were signed, the liter of fuel.
So, Fasadamulo saying this time he has to reset his brain because none of it makes sense. Silomembe Lokang, like I said in the beginning, is not a standard one. You understand? So, $500,000, and you are talking to somebody, experienced internationally, he's telling you, $1 million per kilometer. This should not cost more than, you know, $400,000 per kilometer. So, if you have to explain that, of course, you need to reset your brain. So, listen to him.
Was $47 to $50 at most. Today, the liter of fuel is how much? $78.
Ilama, misleading. Iba correctly. He's misleading again. Deliberately.
78?
77, 78.
More like $80.
$80,
yeah.
Okay.
$79 in 90 some butuls.
90 some butuls.
Now,
two, the haulage, which is access to resources like laterite. In the contract, it was 5 kilometers radius. Now, these contractors that are doing the 50 kilometers are traveling all the way to Bullock, about 100 kilometers away, and they are not compensated for that.
Okay, so that means you'll be considered the fact that these people will have to travel all the way to Bullock. Who cares? is within the jurisdiction of the Gambia. Like Niba Contractor de la Mola, why is it necessary to consider factors such as it is within your country. So even outside of that contract, you can provide them with resources when it comes to mobility or any kind of technical support they need between the two locations. Because you have the Ministry of Works already established. GAM Works BJ, NRA BJ. Government have we already have an established institution, or at least multiple established institutions, to help coordinate with these people, at least to cut down the expenditure if they are willing. But the big bombshell of a diamond, wala nyite kan kuntu diamond, eka Gambia masa kunda ka mol kuntu diamond bake. Dr. Manneh ba yere kanjela, and Ebrima knows this. So ni Dr. J madron aka find a proof not, because J mbofuta la jela madon kana tambal nyata.
All right. So that has also increased the cost. Basalt, at the time when these contracts were signed,
okay, Ebrima said they were not compensated for that, but another for that has also increased the cost. So which is which? So you include that in it to compensate for it, or you did not. Ebrima, if you are understanding him, thank you. Good luck. If you are understanding him, then you are a genius. But Ebrima is confusing everybody here. I think Ebrima is even confusing himself here.
You're not compensated. How has that increased the cost?
No, because
I want to understand they are not compensated. So how can that be?
Exactly.
We'll come to that because you have what you call price escalation if you reach certain percentage within the contract. All right. Now, if you look at basalt, the cost of basalt, for example, at the time when the contract was signed, a trip of basalt from Senegal all the way, if it was not taxed, was about 85,000. Today is about 110 to 115,000. All right. So, in addition to that, you also have within this 1 million the fee for consultants. Within this 1 million also for kilometer, you also have the culverts. You also have all other costs, including the street lights. So I think I'll be very happy if Mr. Manneh can show me evidence that we've not used $400,000 on these projects per kilometer. That will really, because if you
dishonesty because you are a public servant, you are the government. If they accuse you, why not come up with the contractual documents? Ebrima, we have all seen issues with the Gambia government audit reports. Problem Jama the contract negotiating documents. Ibuka pare kan yulel bondi. Ebrima at that say ala 5 foot out. The contract negotiating the terms, many contract the minutes. Let him come up with that. Then J Mobeba understand what went on here. Muna consider what they factored in to just what is it called to determine the price. Yes, Lalo Kebango. Yes, Lalo Keba don't start a play. It's not even copyrighted, but Munagara, not a lately. So Ninga Tribula life will start.
Come to radio and say these things. No, let me just land here. If you say these kind of things, people who don't understand how road works actually takes place.
Yeah, but
no, hold on. They will think this is true.
Let him respond first.
Yeah, but
and when he fails to satisfy that's when you can make that comment. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this proves that we've not spent more than 400,000.
This is not a monologue. Let me come in here. You see,
very good.
The onus of proving the amount spent is on you guys, not on me. Now, you are supposed to have. Can I land? I have the floor now. Can you just when we start discussing these issues, he knows as much as I do, or at least as probably I know better than him. To be honest, I wouldn't. These issues, when you discuss this and you plan this, you have your physical and price contingencies. Price escalation does happen, and if that happens in this case, it's the fault of this government not implementing the project on schedule. Right? It is the fault of this government for letting the dollars slip. So the price contingencies and price escalation is their fault to start with. The physical contingencies happen if they did not plan properly haulage of the materials from a site to where the works are being done. That is upon them. They should have been foreseeing that and have done the necessary works. They didn't do that. That is on them, not on us. And it is upon them to prove to us that they have spent this money. But what I'm telling you, by somebody who has been involved with this kind of, I see the kind of road works. Those OIC roads that he's talking about, these secondary roads, are nowhere near roads on which you spend $1 million. Consultancy fees, we all know what it's about. We know how much it takes. That's nowhere near. That is a minor cost in road construction works. So when you take all of these things, if you pay consultants beyond a certain point, then you are overpricing and you are doing what is wrong.
Exactly. This is one of the big things. Many alonko. Ebrima will anticipate him landa. And being Calamonte adiamo membela aborga nyulala. Consultancy fees. Ana nyindi amo kono ni aboni nyulala ya sama radio station do fanando. He's never going to tell you that. Ila consultancy fees yemonel dundije ya Kenya dile. This is where it can kodo sunya damendo. Gambia masakunda. Mafo Ebrima Sillah de. Nko Gambia masakunda afon in general. Nibe sunya la. The biggest, one of the easiest ways it can sunya damendo. Wala in consultancy fee. Sometimes unnecessary project ko memo need friend. Ika di wala. But if na often ka kanya make kafnyoma lel kumandi some shadow company ya understand. Hiki rek. We company yele ya jo consultancy fee la. Then I do ku furinge or supervision furinge. Then kodoka sunya no wala nyama from major construction projects. Wala tina kunun saferla do ya safa ko ni mon sakunda je men ka fandu nyin very cash intensive fenko project ko construction project ko kana lela. I jama bi de kubaduma. So this is it. Ni consultant sol jo e kafnyo malu aka ise jono very easily fenna me alongo e manyana kasoro but just asunyaro so na rajel do.
The consultancies, there is a price range in which you pay them. If you go beyond that, you should pay back that money. You are spending the money on the wrong things. So that is wrong. So if you take a look at that, he's talking about the road surfaces, etc. When you do this kind of roads, particularly in those alluvial areas, you're supposed to have a sub-base, a base, and when you get to that, you use gravel and other materials. You talk about cement prime. You can use the cement on the gravel to do that base. You are supposed to have at least 4 layers, all right? But in some cases, you have up to 6 layers when you have the alluvial soils. And most of these areas are alluvial soil. That has not been done. So when you do that, even if you prime the road and you take the basalt, which they have not done in these cases, there's no basalt there. If you take gravel and mix it with cement and lay, you're supposed to spread the load on the road. If you don't do it properly, the load is not properly spread, and the road breaks and sags, and the surfacing is going. And that's what we see on this road. And he knows that. So why don't you just tell us exactly? The onus of proving what they spent on this is for them to come out with the figures and tell us, this is what we paid here, this is what we did there. That is upon them, not on us. But by looking at it, if you come and build my house for me, and I know the price of my materials and everything, you tell me I've put 15 millimeter rods here when I know you have put only 8 millimeter rods, I will tell you telling me something that's not true. So that's the same case here. Let them come. I was building a house, a guy came here and told me I put 12 millimeter rods. I said, show me the rods. They're there, show me. He should show us what they've put in this place, what they have paid. This is our money. We're going to pay this back. The $50 million, which were given by the Saudi fund, that was a grant. Sorry, not a grant, a loan at 0% interest over a 30-year period with a 5-year grace period. But we're still going to pay back the loan with a 1% interest for administrative charges. So we're going to pay back $50 million and 1% on that. It is our money that they are spending. They should tell us how they spend that money.
Sillah, how was the $50 million spent?
No, let me answer to it, because the way Mr. Manneh is explaining even the road base, the sub base, clearly shows that he doesn't have any clue about road construction works. Look, who in his right mind will come and do cement stabilize on a road that you have not done the base, you have not done the sub base, you have not put the laterite, and then before you do the cement stabilize, double surface. This clearly shows that this guy has no clue about what he's talking about. All roads that we are doing, no, please let me finish. All roads that we are doing in this country, they go through the standard specifications that, you see anywhere in the world. The sub base, if you clear the road, you do the sub base, you do the base, and then, you do all other layers. Then, depending on the quality of the soil, that is in the area that you talked about.
He spoke about alluvial soil, meaning in swamp areas.
Swampy areas, in fact, we do more. We go beyond the norm. In fact, in some areas, we use specific materials like plastic to lay on the roadbed and then put different layers of laterite before you even put asphalt on it. You see on Battle Hardin how they did this. And in all other places, that is the standard. No, let me finish.
We'll come to Battle Hardin.
We'll come to Battle Hardin. Now, this shows that Mr. Manneh does not have a proper understanding of how road construction works takes place. And you cannot be a jack of all trades. I mean, if you don't know, admit. And I can take you, for example, to a virgin road that we are building, so that you see from stage to stage, and then you will see how we do this. Now, I mean, the other issues that I've not even talked about.
You can see the total disrespect here. Dr. Lamin Manneh, what I mean about ADB Dokola, Benjamin project called OIC in Kenya and other places. Ebrima be refugee in Ghana. This life no balance. We Ebrima gonna see be akavo go ite man fellow nyinko do man fellow doku go. No, it's just sad. It's just sad.
Which are major investments in these OIC roads are the relocation of services, the compensation of properties. Right now, for the no, we do compensate.
Come to that. Okay.
We do compensate. Yeah. Now,
let's not forget that at the heart of this conversation is how this government is spending monies.
At the heart of it, spending monies, but also to dispel the notion of what was expressed on this program. And if you know the battle having or any.
So yeah, Dr. Manneh meant for about this about Ebrima and Manneh. Dr. Manneh meant for on West Coast Radio during his previous interview. Ebrima is more concerned about clearing that. This feels more personal to me than anything. Because in as much as Peter is trying to tell him some of the most important topics that need to be cleared. For example, Nikoko, mola bungol boida. You understand? Compensation kumol kafo. Can you clear that? Let's talk about those things. Ako menkuma ada wala mu Dr. Manneh kuma kangol menfo. Like 50 million, doku laning $50 million for 50 kilometers. You understand? And near silo doku within 2 years, silo katinya. Ado nyu mutonyal tinta mana nyuma bega member afle ko ne silo doku jaka mel. Silo ka doku le katinya. Ebrima can say we want to correct that. We know that it has been a tradition nga trajanne ikasulo doku nuntenne we want to correct it. But the fact of the matter is silo ni doku da Gambia buka me katinya and even in the Barrow regime, wakita lambela ngaji jang. Barrow la masa kunda kono silo ka doku fat fara itinya. Hani memanda Gambia ko mo iko inyanta olonna. Trust me. So that nothing has changed since Jammeh days. Akakeno nyame still na abole nyam.
The OIC roads that we are doing, compensation of properties and also relocation. Now, for example, water and electricity, we are giving them brand new infrastructure. Gamtel also likewise. So, I mean, and all these are built within.
When you say brand new infrastructure, what?
Because originally what used to happen in this country was that NAWEG will have their water pipes or electricity cables on one side of the road.
Yes.
Now, people who are on the other side of the road, if they want these services, they will have to cut the road from one end to the other for them to also have the services. Now, in order to ensure that this does not happen, we condemn those old pipes, bring in new pipes, bring in new infrastructure, costing millions. And also Gamtel, the same thing. So that anyone who is on either side of the road on these newly built roads, if you want these services, you just have to get connected from the source. You don't have to cut the road.
So how much of the 50 million from the Saudi government went to infrastructure for NAWEG?
Well, it's at different stages because this is built per section of the road. For example, in each road section, feasibility will be done. NAWEG, the NRA, and my ministry, and the consultants, and the contractors will go through a copious, process. And in most cases also, even some of these utility service providers don't even have the topography of their services. So, we have to make sure that those services are made available. And then, it may depend from area to area. For example, in heavily built communities like the Joswangs, the Joko area, and whatever, the cost of relocation may be more expensive.
Yeah. But there will be a figure. So maybe not for now.
Not for now because
you're not prepared. But ultimately, maybe by next week, provide us with the figures.
Well,
a 50 million US dollar figure was quoted, which you haven't contested.
No, but of course I gave out this figure.
I'm coming. Yes, exactly. So the UDP cannot spend that 50 million. It's this government that is spending that 50 million.
We are spending, but he said we are not spending on that, and we are asking proof of it. He has to provide. No. The proof is not on us because you are the one alleging.
No, Sillah, yes. You are the ones who have spent.
Yes.
It is for you to say, well, they are saying we haven't spent, but this is how we spent it.
Yes, but we said that, but he's still contesting.
I just asked how much of the 50 million US dollars.
Peter, these projects are not yet finished. They are not audited. No, because this is standard project implementation procedure. I cannot come and give you haphazard, this is what is spent, this is what, because you have to audit the entire process to come up with a
Do you have an
figure.
idea when the audit will be done?
Of course, when the projects are completed, we'll go to an
When
audit.
will the projects be completed?
Well, for some areas, they will be completed in May, end of June, and also, we have had an agreement because...
Kunala interview ala press conference in August. Project do karabang August. So-called OIC roads, August.
Building roads in urban areas, especially built-up areas, is extremely very, very difficult and challenging. We have been extending so that, the roads can be completed. Anytime the roads are completed, of course, they'll be audited.
Abendi amomembe la nenda amola for 50 million on spend kan nyame or spend nyame. He will not tell. He's not going to say that. So he can kalabante yaden. So whatever Menkera, because he knows that he's on the record, he would rather wait to put everything together, compile, understand, to make it make sense. Mida nyumba ko mka bela fo den dolbe midnight soul la jangbe sirin Facebook live yin suro bala molni bida nyulbe million patila boy. Da dila. So they have to make sure, they have to make sure that they put everything together. The figures make sense for the auditors and it makes sense to the general public. Because at the end of the day, they want to put out the good image of the government. Ebrima.
Any time.
Okay, so it could
That's
be
standard procedure.
It could be for the next 10 years, eh? Okay. Yes, please.
Mr. Sillah is trying to spin a lot of things which are not true.
Thank you.
This relocation he's talking about, the Saudi government gave this government $22.5 million for the Greater Banjul water project. They were supposed to sink a new borehole in Sanyang, a water treatment plant in Sanyang. None of that is done. The borehole probably, I'm not quite sure about that. The treatment plant has still not been done. So what he's talking about relocation, this has already been paid for from a different source, not from the 50 million. No. So if he tells us from the 50 million, let him show us. That's not correct. And another point, and all of this were negotiated by Lamin Manneh. He's alive, he's here. I can bring him here, have another program. Lamin Manneh got another 10 million.
Lamin Manneh or Manneh?
Lamin Manneh. Lamin Manneh got another $10 million from the Saudi government again for the electricity transmission and distribution project. Because NAWEC's biggest losses are in transmission. When they are transmitting, there are huge transmission losses. So to cut back on all of that, and that has to do with all of the piping and all the infrastructure he's talking about. That is from there. They got money for that. Has that been done again? So the 50 million has nothing to do with all of this. 50 million is for the road works, not for these compensations he's talking about. One. Two, the compensation is not just the utilities corporation. It's also for the people whose houses have been broken down, and for which I understand 12-point-something million have been given for compensation to those landowners whose houses have been broken down and whose fences have been broken down, etc. Go to any place in this Greater Banjul area, you find them everywhere. Very, very few people have been compensated. Why are their houses being broken down? Why are their properties being destroyed without compensation? When you expropriate, you pay ahead of expropriation. You don't just break those houses and tell them we'll pay you later on. How are they supposed to survive? You see people bringing tarpaulin and putting in front of their houses to close their houses. The fence has been broken down. Story buildings have been broken down partly. Well, you should compensate them before you do that. That's the normal standard procedure anywhere. You don't go destroying the properties of your citizens and telling them to fend for themselves until when you can give them money. All of this is trying to spin something that's not correct. And he's telling me that nobody does this sort of roadworks without doing this. It's not true. Last time I came here, I said I used to go to these roadworks and stand there and inspect. Tell me, what are you doing? I said, I'm inspecting my road. I told you that. I go there and see. Battle Harding is the only one in which they laid tarpaulin around the, just after 1+1 store there, around that area, they laid tarpaulin. Because of the amount of water in there, it's waterlogged all the time. That is the only place they laid tarpaulin. All the rest, it doesn't have it. So it's not telling us the truth there.
Okay, Janika Tambijan, I want to say something very important here. The rehabilitation program for NAWEC rehabilitation, what do they mean? They want to transition from old pipes to new pipes. Ube sila dal. Kodi ani be mol compensate la menna. Meni yalan ko ila bungol partly boyta dolbi je palaso le eradicate ila corruption so le boy do ye bunyangol boy into fara into half. So those things yala wo be musila dala project ko. So the suspicion is they want to include all this as part of the 1 million, 50 million. So I know he's trying to make himself look like Dr. Manneh be memfokang abe molel nenekang. But this is a very important conversation. Maybe, just maybe, I want to believe only this conversation might have saved the taxpayers' money, the taxpayers about $20 million US. Trust me. Ning conversation with Dr. Manneh ning Ebrima Sillah today. Maybe it saved the taxpayers' money, the taxpayers about 20 million. Because ibeni memfoka abeni rehabilitation o memfoka ni ya nyinga because niko rehabilitation full ning ilafta mulunal. Ibe mo lako dal do kula back ye compensate and okay rehabilitation ibafla nawek la pipe olu ikanundo ika pipe silo lel kundunung ni la fa atone electricity supply ola nim pipe over the other side you for silo kundu ina sama the other side lafta wala bonde la nga sifa donat. But all in all, like I said, my observation is ilafta ka make so kanyum flow integrate OIC project going siloning $50 million US per $1 million per 1 kilometer. $1 million per kilometer in Gambia. Mala silo mindo fagara regional bantemalo. So ilafta ka wala so siloning na ala expensive ta nyame iba try kan ka wala justify. So wala na the financial details Ebrima is not going into any of those things. Nia nyininka akafol ronko proof. This is the problem with corruption. Adwalatna serious leaders who want to fight corruption. Sometimes you don't wait for the hard evidence. There are traits many angekawale jibe. Yafoko this doesn't make sense. Ye molu bay, ye mol samba commission holdo. Ya onasane. Ya make so ye mol replace. You move the chest around just because of suspicious activities like this. So that's the suspicion is ilafaka ko be blend. Na regular rehabilitation ya ninyi cordal me yante compensate la and they agreed into that. Let's follow the discussion. Corda compensation ko Ebrima literally is trying to blame Corda owners, the house owners of not providing the proper documents and Ebrima
handle these figures for
yes,
me. 25 million. Let me come. 25 million for the water project. 22.5. There is another 10 million for the generation.
Igalo nyina ko Ebrima spindo yaja ka faka uma ko ka figure 22. He's not disputing it. Okay? But the water treatment program, the water treatment plant, amallo. Even program wala malafaya ba atawo fole kodora da mindole. He's not going to tell you. So these people are no Gambia la ko mbala
Electricity transmission and generation.
And 12 million for compensation, right?
That is not.
Is it 12 million? Let me confirm this. Is it 12 million for compensation?
Compensation, 12 point something million.
12 point something million.
No, the battle hardened plus the 50 kilometers of OIC, the compensation did not come from anybody. That was a contribution of the Gambia government in the project.
Imagine.
Yes.
Yes.
Nobody gave Gambia government a butut for compensation. That's why I said he should always get his facts right.
That's clear.
Secondly, the relocation of services that he talks about, for example, the 22.5, that has nothing to do with the relocation of services on the roads.
What's that?
Okay, so the 22.2 million, 22 point how much million? The 22 million is Asodra, right? Okay. Maybe you
that is purposely to help NAWEC to have water reticulation systems, to have boreholes, and also have water distribution systems.
No, he said
purely. He said that is for relocation.
No, he said that is for the water project. He said the 22 point something was
for the water project for NAWEC, but nothing to do with the cost of relocation of NAWEC water pipes on the roads.
Yes. That's what it's for.
No. It has nothing to do with that.
So what did you use it for then?
That one is
what
for
did you use it for?
No, hold on, please. I mean, let me just clarify this.
Ibe kamfala Manneh kama Manneh la kubala tinyaja. So 22 million only, perhaps that's the money that will disappear. That 22. Yenye 50 only ya be dundi wakuna yokobe korratio ni men soto yawo soto na regular rehabilitation o mengita je worki OIC silo ya make so ko luntangol be borra silo men kan kabo airport kata we regular drum. That's it. You must spin at Ebrima Mandra spin at is yala jan 15 kede. Abe fena defend ka.
Was there a 22 point something?
That is basically to help NAWEC with its water systems. Nothing to do with the relocation of pipes. Nothing to do with the relocation of services on the roads. I am telling you that the relocation of services is from the $1 million. for the roads per kilometer. So he has to get his facts right. If he doesn't, look, if he comes to me, no, hold on. It's a big brother. For me, I will be the last person to come and sit here trying to, dispute things. Because at the end of the day, these are public records. I'm telling you.
No. That's also misleading. That's also misleading because young conversation men from Kanindi, wala nyindiko, y'all accuse $1 million for 1 kilometer. Iko bring the details. You are not saying that. You cannot bring. Now he's saying it's a matter of public records. But earlier on he said he cannot bring these things because the audit report has to come out. So Ebrima is a very, very, very dangerous guy. Oh, and you cannot blame Dr. Manneh. Sometimes when you are alive, some of these things can elude you. But what what he's saying now, none of it makes sense. Okay? It's a matter of public records. Everybody can see it. But at the Kilimola for ko, ni ka kodo 50 million or dunta nyadi. I can't follow now because audit nyanda. So what is not even audited? How can that be a matter of public records? Who is fooling who here? Oh, Ebrima Mabe, why?
We are not getting the sort of information.
No, hold on. I tell you that the roads will be audited. Okay? And this is normal stuff.
Yeah. Within a very short period of time, the roads will be audited. And this is a matter of public records. And remember, among we are talking about those 22, 10 million, 13 million. No. I got the 15 million. He just said it recently. I got the 15 million. Directly. I found laugh.
The procedure in any construction project. But to come and sit here and then give false information that the 22 million that was given to NAWEC was for the relocation of service, that is completely false. It shows how, unprepared he is with his facts. Also, the electricity. That has nothing to do with the relocation of electricity pipes and poles on the right of way. So, he should get his facts right. And secondly, let me say this. Lamin Manneh was appointed by the government of the Gambia.
He's very passionate about the UDP figures. First, I want to clear them. Ebrima must clear those, things. And that's now wait a minute, program to clear. Because Dr. Manneh said Lamin Manneh was the leader of the OIC at the time and then he secured certain funds. At the son now he would want the credit to go to the Gambia government. Okay? Ebrima...
Not Lamin Manneh who raised the funds. I think that you should not politicize this. These funds were raised by the Gambia government. He was an agent of the Gambia government, doing work of the Gambia government, not necessarily him. If he did not have the mandate of the Gambia government to go and even sit with the donors, do you think that will happen? It will not happen. Now can he do that? So that is why it is the Gambia government that raised the funds. Yeah. Don't individualize it.
Nobody can dispute that. Nobody can dispute that.
I agree with that. Lamin Manneh was entrusted by the Gambia government to raise funds, and he did that.
But he did not raise it.
So it doesn't mean that we didn't say that Lamin Manneh raised it on his own. He was working for the Gambia government, but he raised the funds, and that is what he was entrusted with.
I think and the raising funds was done by the Ministry of Finance.
I am giving you
at issue here.
Come on.
Yes, at issue here is how the funds raised were used.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm telling you. Building roads, relocating services, and also providing the necessary works, within the contract.
So you are saying all these roads that are being built will last us a minimum 15 years. You're saying they have 20 to 25 years.
Minimum 20 to 25 years.
That's what I'm saying. So you're saying that they will last us a minimum 50.
With continuous maintenance. Because remember, when you
build... Bayosongo, contractor memborda. Pasal orang media menganda aku abalanda aku lah, aku denial, akama mu akata mu marilo.
A road and you don't maintenance it. Of course, it doesn't last. It's a lifetime. So what has been lacking in this country over the years was the lack of maintenance, and that's why we have a maintenance budget now, working with the NRA going forward to ensure that this is built as part of our strategic, orientation of building roads in this country.
So okay, yes.
Just a second. The road maintenance is already funded by the NRA levy on petrol. So that is not them to start with. So this is not going from this project, okay? And if he's talking about the road maintenance over a period of time. Why are we having the ones that are built already breaking down without being properly maintained? And if you do a maintenance, and you have a 20, just give me a second. If you do a maintenance program over a 20-year period, 25 years, as he said, when they audit the project, we want to see all of that because you're supposed to have a board guarantee for that as well. So I hope they will give us all of that. But the thing is, by the time these projects are finished, and they are implemented and audited, they wouldn't be in government, so they can just say anything they like today. They'll wait until hell freezes over before you have any of these documents coming out of them. And these projects will not be finished until when they leave government in 2026. So why are we waiting till then? Show us as we go along. You have interim reports, you have everything. Why don't you give us the interim reports? So we see what is happening now. We see what is being paid. And we see where the money is going.
Exactly.
We would need to see some of that going forward. Not just wait until everything is done. There are interim reports coming at different times. Why don't you give us those interim reports and show us where the money is going?
And if we have to wait until the project is done, maybe you could, okay, like Manneh said, maybe for him Barrow. But if Barrow continues, God forbid, we will never see it forever because Silol Buka Bang. So Barrow, you told left Manneh, Ebrima Sillah left Manneh, well, in construction of Banda, they come up with the audit report and tell the Gambians how these monies were spent. And by that time, you have to understand psychologically, Akatara, most people lose interest in these things. Akatara, it becomes irrelevant as a matter of public, matter.
It's too easy to say he has not got his facts. I'm giving you facts, you tell me I don't have the facts. Because he's trying to spin something that is not correct.
I'm not spinning anything. I'm just trying to tell you that what you are saying, they are completely related.
Let me finish.
Yeah, Sillah is always the one interrupting. Sillah, Dr. Lamin Manneh kula majang. I lalama me along ka kuya bata nyumoli. Fajo biko ma ko be no midnight so mo ko understand e muna la tam bi.
Let me finish. Yes, go ahead. Even the relocation works you're talking about, that is minor in terms of cost for the road construction. The relocation of those services is pipes you are relocating and a few structures. That is a minor cost. So don't try to give us this as a major cost. We did road construction all over the place. If you have been to Nairobi, that's the thicker road from Nairobi, 50 kilometers out of Nairobi, it's an 8-lane road. We relocated the services that were on the thicker road. I was head of the regional integration department in the African development back in Nairobi. We relocated all of those structures, and we continued the road from Thika to the Namanga border with Tanzania. We did all of those. We relocated those pipes and everything. The cost is minimal, right? And now when you talk about the other major cost that could be involved here is consultancies. And we know how much you pay for consultancies for those sort of things. Except that here, when the consultancies were being done, they were recruiting people who didn't have the qualifications to do some of these things.
Exactly. Madam on the Fokanade. Iba Yera Kanjanela, Iba Puskanjanegang, Amampareka Fem for Janet. And remember, let me deviate a little bit. There were allegations about the independence to the mayor of FIFA approved no. One of the reasons why the rehabilitation project of the Independence Stadium did not go well was ye moleta mayor lonko ye kontrako nyin ya chika ya diala amari amanka ko men wala mala specialization. Dolko at the time that company was more into marketing, in commercial activities on. Wolbo wala kono. So your Independence Stadium wala rehabilitation program ya muta ya chika ya di wala. But wofana jumala ya support the minister. And we had information at the time that even ila kinala kumbe mume ala officer to molbi je menan ko balanda ala officer molbi je menan ko balanda ko. But you know what happened? Because I found corrupted. Ako ya bole ya to bakar bajibul. Bakar adiata bakar nyame ya ko nyam. So yadi mol men apparently the allegation was they were not specialists in those kind of works. So this is exactly what they do. This is how they rip us off. Pajo.
And people were running away with the funds. And when he tells me that this road was done by somebody who left and the money was this gentleman absconded to Sierra Leone. Did they recover those funds? They need to tell us that.
Okay. All right. Sillah, I'll give you the floor now.
No, I mean, completely false information. The contractor that we took this thing from is still in this country. We were not satisfied with the quality of the road. We never had any Liberian contractor in this country. And I have never had any Sierra Leonean contractor apart from Pabi Fort And they are still in this. No, they are still here. They have not. Those were not the ones in Tujering. Please, ask me.
I'm not talking about Tujering.
Brother, please.
This incident is sort Intel Mamo Bida. Dr. Manneh for Manke Mo following a new movement. You contraco di Mola border. I was here on this page here on my profile here, Ning Bio Songo. And Bio also mentioned this. And even before Bio said this, we have heard this story. That you contrago di Mola Nila Kodo border. So, but what happened from my understandings, because now Nimo Jamala Nenekadiama Kola. The guy at least so then I guarantee member Gambia, and then they were able to fix something with the government. So he could come back to the country. Okay? But that doesn't mean the project was successful. At least completely. So if the guy was able to come back to the country, yes, fine. But at least a contract of Busala and Ebrima Sillah from Bala Wala Jam Comengo, Momen Dogola, Amandia, Dogo ala Doko Metol Nyabo. Akadoko Kenunya Metol Nyabo, right? So ya Busala Yadi Dol. Okay, so that's what we are telling you. Ko atatal numfa borta. You understand? So, but he is not going to mention any of that, and he doesn't want any of that to be mentioned. Ibrahim Ibrahim to the extent necessary.
I'm here to clarify things for you. This was a Chinese company that actually was doing this work. We were not satisfied with the quality, and I said we should cancel the contract. And for a good reason.
When they won the contract, were you minister already?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
All right? No, hold on. Let me finish.
Just go ahead, Sillah. I'm controlling the microphone.
Yeah. And also, I mean, the issue of compensation. I have to make it very clear that one of the reasons, because he was all over nowhere about this compensation that we demolish people's houses. You know why some of them are still not being paid?
Why?
We have already about $12 million is lying at the NRA for Bijilo roads. Most of these compounds that we are talking about here, the actual owners, the people whose names are on the lease documents, title deeds, are no longer alive. All right? And then what happens is the people who claim to be the owners of the place, when we verify with the title deeds, actually they are not the owners of the compound. So what we tell them is go and then sit as a family and come with a power of attorney where all of you will sign with your ID cards there and certified by a JP. Then, we will send it to the Treasury, and the Treasury will send the orders to Central Bank, and the Central Bank pays directly to their bank accounts. We don't even, see these funds. So I'm just telling him that the issue of compensation and the delay in compensating people is a complex mix. Sometimes it could be the fault of the government because, the allocation was not provided on time.
Sometimes it could be the fault of the government. Dr. Manneh was very clear. The strategic thing to do is before you cordal boy barike identify la ko janyanta boy lale. That's when you come up with this compensation scheme. You don't wait until you cordal demolish. You don't wait until you demolish people's houses and then just allow them to literally leave them to fend for themselves helplessly for months and months and months, and then later come and provide them with funds. You don't do that. So you have already conducted a survey and you determine that these houses have to be demolished. That's when you need to allocate funds for them. And that's when you need to do the disbursement. So if you want to do disbursement at that point, then you will come to realize that, okay, some of these people, they don't even have the proper title deeds. So you can advise and guide them as to how they can get the proper title deeds. And then everything can fall in place on time. But now they want to, blame the house owners for the late delivery of funds to them. They're going to be held responsible for that. If anything, they want to receive those funds today. They want to have those monies today. But you did not give them the money on time because you did not even conduct a survey as to, how much impact it will have on them and how much funds you will need to compensate them. You only come back to give them money after you literally kick some of them out of their houses because some of them, after the demolition, they cannot even stay in those homes. Ebrima Sillah.
I have to admit, but in most cases, the problem is the people who are claimants of this compensation, their names are not on the title deeds. No, hold on, please. There is no problem here. This is procedure. But okay, let me allow you.
Yes. You see, that's where the problem lies, because when you expropriate, You're supposed to do all of that ahead of the expropriation. If they had gone ahead of time and checked with those people, say, we're going to break down your house, we're going to possess part of it, and the state is going to compensate you, then you do that work beforehand. Then you will know who owns the land and who does not. You will know whether devolution of property, because sometimes it's simply a question of devolution of property. The owner has passed away and the devolution is properly done to the heirs. So you can take care of that devolution ahead of time. So you do that before. You don't wait until you break it down and then you start looking for who. That like Islam said, deliberate delayance. You do this beforehand. You don't do it after you've broken down their houses.
Peter,
that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Let me educate him on the way we do it.
Educate me. Please, don't be rude, please. Don't be rude.
No, I'm not rude. I'm telling you.
You're rude.
Let's clarify.
If you tell me you are educating me, that's rude.
Okay, gentlemen. All right. I'll have to take a commercial break.
So yeah, I understand. This is where the interview ended. I understand they came back later on and then things looked a little bit better. But there's no problem. Ebrima is so defensive. And especially when it comes to these funds. Because remember, we are talking about a lot of money here. And the consultancy, Ebrima yalon ko pural da mon le nyo dun tolong. Ebrima yalon, Dr. Ebrima Manneh yalon ko Dr. Lamin Manneh kay. Dr. Lamin Manneh yalon ko nyung kodo a pusu pasarta damendo. One of them was the consultancy fees. Gladol ye expenditure dolby je budget dolby je may spend je manya ko spend je. You could dolby je they overspent. They overspent there. But the beneficiary in most cases are because they have a good track record of being on the receiving side of contract monies themselves. So in the contract near loopholes, some of them they in fact go and establish shadow companies, or at least after they already have shadow companies. You have to understand the Gambia government is very complex. So some of these people you shadow companies also for a very long time already. So they are being run by like people many along ko Italy or Kiji. So but the company in Niti Atomo Ibamiral Komengo, it has no affiliation with this person. But in reality it will help them. So it depends. And this happens unfortunately no auditing department for now. From what I've been informed. Mostly audit firms also many along ko. Ikamenge mostly is like Nisango Banda, government kasula ka auditing menge. So some of the senior people, many are going to finance and the auditing and all those institutions related to government finances. Ikamenge, if only have some audit firms also, and they give themselves contract. Because they are not going there, it don't matter how company to directly do, but it told them they are the major stakeholders. They are the owners of those companies. So Ebrima Kuokono, well, if consultancy fees, when these guys, when Dr. Manneh spoke about consultancy, Ebrima felt irritated. He felt that he was being attacked. Wala tinabe Lamin Manneh attack la, wala tinabe Lamin Sane attack la, wala tinabe tolfula, abe kamfala. I can imagine abe tarabulol from Sarla in London. Abe tarabulol Sarla because he was mad, he was angry. This guy is trying to pinpoint something me ordinarily molba bulala item. More than you learn. Because Nico highway, the European standard highway, 1 kilometer for $1 million. But in terms of construction, London, but 1 kilometer for 1 million sounds a lot. And in fact, during the program, audio play, if all the man agreed, but the 1 million for 1 kilometer road, standard highway. And this one that they are building in the Gambia is not even a standard highway. And even from common sense point of view, Nibe Dokulal Jola in Europe is more expensive than Nibe Dokulal Jola in Gambia. You understand? So it cannot make sense. Ebrima tried so hard, but he can never make any of this make sense. So Dr. Manneh ka push jela consultancy kwenye jela man diay. And ngafale, I promise you, gale ko abe ndia mo membela be per la fay bank wo water sanitation plant ye memfo ko men nyanda kala kombo south. A project go manke. Am at a fem for la leje. And even the 50 million, remember, 50 million is the subject matter here. $50 million. That is the main issue. That is the central question here. I explain now, because they have to wait until the end of the project. But here, you have interim reports. How can you not inform us as a ministry, as a government, as to how much was spent, how much you are expected to spend on this project, how much you are spending? What has changed since you started this project or to this day? What has changed? What kind of, unexpected or expenditures have you incurred? Tell us. It is not illegal to spend, money when, things, important issues, come to the table that you cannot reject. Because Ngalongo is a construction. Road construction is complicated. There's a lot of things involved. You need to pay people. You need to have experts. You need to import stuff from even Senegal, from abroad. We know all these things are there. There are other complications. The global economy is not stable. Some of the things that you need, some of the equipment that you need, some of the materials that you need, the prices have changed and all that. Just tell us. But you have your interim reports, audit reports. Tell us what happened. Ebrima is not willing to speak on any of this. He said instead, we should wait until the project is over. Then they will come back to tell us how much they have spent on the project. So this is the problem. Ebrima does not want to be pushed on this anymore. He has had enough of it. So if I go to this program, I come across as aggressive and and factual. Maybe they are going to give up. Maybe can topic but I mean, come on, who is going to buy this idea of 1 million for 1 kilometer? 1 million for 1 kilometer. And you can see that's why the debate was heated, because Dr. Manneh is saying, this road should be built for not more than $450,000 per kilometer. Ebrima Wafolago 1 million. And when you talk about rehabilitation, I navigate pipes all night. But I tell you, there are certain things he cannot just clear them. And I don't know why he didn't tell us about the audit report when it comes to the timeline. He was very careful when he talked about the projects. Akodolwe Banna in May, I have he was itemizing them and then I skipped a year. But yesterday, in his press conference, he said some of these projects will go all the way to August. Sorry, I think October. August or October. But well beyond the OIC. OIC is just this month. We are already in May. It's like 2nd of May in Europe now. You understand? So, if the project is going to end sometime end of the year, and something the OIC Konole, are you not just ashamed that we are even talking about this in the first place? Because this project should have been finished long time ago. Then you come to the issue of the project. Fati kunangol almabe. Ala. Guy fati kunangol mabe. Emola project emola kodo be kasarada. But the Lomalo Baroka Moleko is a very big disappointment. What disappointment is he talking about? And Baro doesn't want to, but you know what? I don't know podium or anyway. I forgot Ngadi Mola Marine Kodo Yamato. Maria Mola Kodo Kasara. He's not going to say that. All he's going to say is we are just disappointed that the project was, Hoteloni Malono, because it's something that we anticipate. Hoteloni likely Kanule Pro Gambia Asot. Bomana Hotelo Maso. Yeah, Songo, I agree. Hoteloni, it was a scam. I don't know. The funny thing is, now my guanza I go barrel elbow blood. Still now. O barrel men benunje. Still now bere killing all elbe. Project on you fema manje, fema kumaseje. Because you know what? The phone was not there. You gave this contract to somebody that you don't even know his track records. I doubt if Ablaicham, as far as I know, he was never involved in any major construction project in the Gambia. Yeah, but in Senegal, doing some other things. He was involved in Senegal. He was economically active in Senegal, but not in the Gambia. As far as major projects are concerned. Again, business maybe I 1 or 2 but when it comes to major, because this was a massive project. It was a lot of money. But then you come and see Ablai Cham claiming that he gave a lot of money also to a woman. So taxpayer Algranari, Ndol Bonor. Nothing was there. The only guy used them for the video shoot. Yeah, and nothing was done there. The guy only used them for video shot to get money from investors. Yeah, and the interesting thing is he got the money. Ultimately, he ended up getting the money because, of course, when government signed that kind of agreement with you, you have those contractual documents, you go to bank, you'll most definitely get a loan. Okay? Because you have a very massive project agreement with the government. Capital intensive, yes, but at least you have the backing of the government. So if you go to the bank, I don't think your records will really matter, knowing what happens in the Gambia. They will not really care. They're just going to give you the funds. So he got the funds, and then he came back and said, you know, I think it was 6 months or 1 year before the OIC, because I think 6 months ago he came out to make a statement to say that he cannot actualize the project. Ata beninola, kata beninola, ferem muku muku, adata beninola, kuta beninola. And then it was already too late for Barrow to do anything. It was already too late for Barrow to take any step, because hotel within 6 months. Ita wakela no, ibanga Chinese. Ni wala hani ko 1 month belala. Barrow will with them, anything is possible. But Barrow takela no, because he doesn't have the money. One, he doesn't have the expertise. He doesn't have the equipment. He has to outsource almost everything, including the the contractor himself, because I don't have Senegal. So he has scammed. So this is what goes on, Ebrima Sillah, I don't know if he's going to. It will be very interesting to hear his take on what happened with the. Tavature, kanan donde problema kono yande. Kanan donde problema kono yande na frode. Kodogele to vadele kay kododi. Yalla ndol nga kododi tel. Ndol mta ndol fanal ndel nga de guarantee pour ita bank ay kododa. Because the project, interestingly, was a pre-finance project. You understand? So that means the government will not directly give you the funds to fund the project, but the agreement that you are going to have with the government and the tender certificates that you are going to get, the certificate that is going to indicate that you made a bidding, and then they officially give this contract to you. You understand? If you take those documents to banks, they can give you loans. So obviously he secured it. And he got the loans. But what happened after getting the loan? They will face the consequences sooner or later. You see, Senegal have filed the case against Macky Sall and Warrant International. Well, it is coming from one day breaking news. The latest news I got from Senegal, Gaston Benga boy, Gaston Benga, Ega Bandela man. Ila onyo boreng organized laba. Ega Bandela, that's the latest news. But I've never heard about what is it called? What are you trying to say here? Arrest warrant for Macky Sall. But bro, if I will tell you the truth, the strangest thing that I've ever seen is Macky Sall leaving power and like literally that very day moving to Morocco. I don't know, and I'm not suspecting. I'm not accusing these people or blaming them for being too slow. But how can you just step down today and leave the country today? So in case there is something, in case something is discovered that you think will need some criminal investigation, the president should be at least within the jurisdiction. But if you are not within jurisdiction, even as a common person like me, a common man like me, it's almost always difficult to have them extradited. Talk less of a whole president, former president rather. This just today. Okay, bro, I would want to know more about this. Maybe I'll even do a video about it. Senegal now shows, of course, but I will contact Senegal. I have a contact with some journalists there as well. Just have information, filter and to verify them. So I will send a message. I will send a message. That will be very good. That will be very good. So the arrest warrant, she said, are you saying the arrest warrant is for Macky himself? But that will be good because Macky. And interestingly, when, what is the name again? When Jomai came to power, the first country that he visited was Mauritania. So a lot of people, I was very sad. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. What is the name? Jomai Manneh follow Gambia instead of Mauritania. But then, may and mind sabatin domani wala ngalo nako near Usman Sonkola audio lamoy because I post videos sometimes. You go into archives it as a blalto ila pastef page to ya understand ila YouTube channel although you watch some of their videos to understand. So Macky what is it called Sonko at some point ala accusation of Dolby against Macky Sall one of the strongest ones was Macky Sall made an agreement with the Mauritanians about the Senegalese oil. Meya Lonko, it was fishy. So that one, because nada menje wala nyindigo, birim Jomai Tata Mauritania, the delegation included the Minister of Energy and Petroleum. That tells you everything. So yeah, there was something urgent that needed to be like sorted out like immediately. So walatina they didn't, you know, among yala nyun mosa kunda benyame because diamu pere they believe in action. Wale landi Jomai ni sonkala akkola. So walatina Gambia kumaya te fe nyawnya, ya understand? I Gambia honola ya bunya lede. But they knew ko nyule fene du nyodo Mauritania, which has to be very clear, because in Mauritania, you have to remember, this is a neighboring country, any economic ties, you know, culture, heritage, people, everything. So you have to make sure that, you know, because the terms of the agreement, these people, they are not falling for that. They don't want that at all. At all. And also the EU, I think I saw on my YouTube homepage today also the Senegalese. Gambia for Gambia, I think I need to remind myself about that. We also have this so-called agreement with the EU when it comes to fishing. So Senegal also have it. So Senegal wants to look into the matter again. They want to reassess this contract. Maybe they're going to rescind the contract or they will not renew it. Because contract for 2 years or something like that. Fishing contract only. So they are going to stop the Europeans from, you know, Canela Balcona ron Kanyomota ron Kasamba, you know, Kasardinoma ron Kasamba Europe. Will be able to stop that. But you know what? You know, maybe that's another topic. I'm getting a little bit out of topic because if I talk about these things, it make I become passionate about the Pan-African agenda. Pan-Africanism, you never more but a lot of us, you know, when it comes to getting what we want. We can actually get what we want without antagonizing the Europeans. If you go to Jama, almost every 1 or 2 days, official website. So Jama recently met with, you know, a very important diplomat from the EU. So a few days later, they are looking at the fishing agreement in a European dimension. But the manda microphone European we are going to do this, we will kick them out. The Europeans, you don't do that. He called them on. He invited them. They went to the State House. They had a discussion. A very top diplomat. Because my life, I don't want to speculate as to who the person was, but I even have the picture. Sorry, but the person was there. Yeah, understand. They had a very, you know, good discussion. The media reported on it. But then few days later, they are looking at their fishing agreements. So African leaders don't know they are not real Pan-Africanists. You know what they do? They antagonize the West directly. So yeah, the West are taking the Senegalese job because the Senegalese understand agriculture, including fishing. Fishing is a very key important part of their economy. They want to take, you know, back their fishing industry. That is very, very important for them. But the manta ka microphone ka European will call out ibafule atulmu colonizer leldi atulmu nyineti and wait for it. Even Kodo, the French CFA, they will come after it. You understand? They will come after the French CFA can make sure Senegal bondige. Right now what they are doing is economically ba make sure kaneko ila currency memina future currency memina ni sefa bonage. Iba make sure loko pro ala stabilize la nyama kana ke kuma kaito de kafu. That's what they are doing. That's why they are taking a very good look at agriculture. Because they want to make sure that they are not always importing everything. So those who understand economics know, if you want to make progress, you don't just import everything into your country and you export nothing. If you export nothing like the Gambia, your currency will go down. You will have inflation, uncontrollable inflation for that matter. This is what they understand. So in any European nende, in any European call out, mbal kele tenne, mbal baila janale, mbal fengele. You don't do that because you know what you have to consider. At the end of the day, nimasi benata, jamabi je masa kundal ni itol senior government official itol ka kanale. But the masses, the ordinary people, will be kanano. And this is what Sonko and Jomai understand. So they are not going about this using Kawiya. Give them time. They will make sure that they will replace the currency. They have made it very clear from the beginning. This is a patriotism. Put your country and your people at the center of everything that you are into. as long as politics is concerned. But you don't take the microphone, what ibe France nena, ibe Anglais nena, ibe afla mo colonizer. And I told mo kilol many alcohol for some of you. You chance in danger dribble colonizer Europe ACJ because on Zalafa. I think okay. So the Africans need to educate ourselves. Some president men set kanjanga. It is a very fabulous example. Don't listen to it. Example, Mano Jibe Jana. What is the bad example? What is this guy from Burkina? Thomas Sankara Bodasado. Burkina. Ubemenkeka is horrible. If you are antagonizing the West, maybe every young politician make a mistake. Okay, fine. In Voltara Silomena, fine. But having a problem with ECOWAS is just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Kabo Bolala ECOWAS. Now the repercussion is some of these countries are landlocked countries. It's only Mali. If you can import no, everything has to come through Senegal, Gambia, Banku Dolmembe, Balamene, Nigeria. So, you know what is going to happen? Prices will increase in their countries. And it will feel that. Yeah, understand? So they will try to make themselves like Pan-Africanist. But at the end of the day, they are not going to feel any of those price hikes. It will be palais. They are sitting in a palais. They are not going to feel any of this. And they have abundant security. But because now Senegal cannot just take anything. They are, because of the so-called ECOWAS protocols, your price will, okay, Sisi Abarakabaka, I will check it out. Because of the so-called ECOWAS protocols, signed price will need to take and telephone will tax no fendol, like when we import from them, we cannot, tax them on certain goods. Yeah, understand? So things are smoother. But in ECOWAS, need to babble mambe, ni ECOWAS ye bang. But ECOWAS antagonized. And some of the interesting thing is, so-called Pan-African also, some agenda, one of them is to have this ECOWAS reformed. It is ours. And ECOWAS does not belong to the Europeans. It belongs to us. We have to participate in the reformation of ECOWAS. The way it is going, I'm better. Okay? And by the way, Toure, Toure, ECOWAS condom Toure because I am president one Toure from Gambia. So you don't run away from an institution like that. Gambia, Sada Karabaja Oranyole alo, Thomas Sankara Nyole Benunje at the initial stage. So how can you just come and say, Ntabota ECOWAS le, Ntabota ECOWAS support? First of all, if ECOWAS bal Korola Mealongo is a security provider in parts of Africa, Mealongo, Ninga Yin Tuabolu, Ninga Hakilo use, near Bondi. Some countries like Mali, Mali has always been having security issues. We can go there as brothers, African brothers, and help them. We can go there as African brothers and help them. But you know what happened? If it's demanding, at least but France immediately what happened was security crisis not an protected. For 2-3 months, cold duty the military they step up and then they close it. But even that all that was going unnecessary. Some people lost their lives. Yeah, understand? So you have to be ready for it. West mo nyama mala ndel be ngalo nako mal like. Ngafa nia so they are going to milk us till the end of time. They will milk us, use us, make sure ngatara duma. But the relationship with them may obey sabu and may tell us so much that ni lafta bondil hakilo wole ba bondila. Sangarote de anin kawiye ya ni militarily ali be koros ala Mali nyol jana malam bafla nyadi Burkina ali just keep an eye on them. Ibeni so-called propaganda message will be finting but the ordinary people in those countries will suffer. The ordinary people will suffer because if you don't have good trade agreements with this ECOWAS, if only immediate neighbors, and most of the countries that they have agreements with, explicitly, they all came under so-called ECOWAS trade agreements. Yeah, understand? So they have some privileges when it comes to trade and economic activities with their neighbors. So now all those things will go to the drain. This is why I'm telling you, from Safna. I think one of them that is Memphis Dumbuya. I think Dumbuya is much better. And that one also, amending the law, and then some things come over time. Some experience will come over time. You have to begin to listen to people, understand them. You can't know any of these people in Jomai ba kela nola because Jomai manke France la pupetti, Jomai manke Western la pupetti, Jomai nyol be mune code African agenda. You understand? But while you are doing fighting for the African agenda, you people and the interests of your people have to be center stage. But the center stage cannot be let's antagonize the West. And you know who does that? They call for fascism, creating an enemy outside. So you have a hero trying to fight that enemy. Your people can rally behind you. This is what when you are gullible, People take advantage of you, and people understand we are frustrated with the West, the way mineral resources. And just to conclude, I'm making a video later on. I'll make a small, short video on this one. Now, if we continue to complain like this without thinking, you know what happens to us? Those who are milking us will come and join the stage and tell us that we are actually being, men from Sumbal. They are the same people who will come and join us and cry together with us. Even though their pockets are full, they will cry along with us and tell us, yes, these people are big thieves. They play the victim card along with us. An example is Sierra Leone President Muso. She just made a video here, she went viral for it. You know what she was saying? Koha tuabolu ka namol because of moela banko develop ni lafta tala nyato isaje ye suppress ito la banko kang na malamba fla nyade mineral resources all membije Sierra Leone for me control no. I mean ndesa wo fono as an African. Another Sierra Leonean can say that. But ate kema me ya lonka be sanji wora be president yala. What has he done about that? Because I be benefitless to kanje. That's a hard fact. And if you see somebody like the president's wife complaining about the mineral resources about the West stealing our mineral resources, you cannot. That doesn't make any sense because you are in authority, you are in power to do something. The way she is crying is the same way her husband is crying about the murder. And you, as the president, you cannot cry about these things anymore because you have had 6 years to fix the problem. Fix the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Fix the problem. They have been taking our mineral resources. Okay, fine. Thank you for letting us know. What have you done about it? You've been playing along with them. So we can cry as ordinary people, but you cannot cry as president and by first lady. You don't even have that. So wala na Pan-African agenda ni mga hakilodo. Mola bina agenda nyeng hijack la many along. They are the actual thieves. They are our actual problems. Wala bina and sit along with us and cry and point fingers to the West. And I'm better on now. Allah baraka bake. Thank you and good night, good night, good night. So kurajana is 2 a.m. So for another time. Allah baraka bake. Thank you. Momo beji.